Welcome, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon to all our prospective students, wherever you're joining from. Welcome to the webinar where we will explore the Strategic Urban Planning and Policies Master Track, part of the Master of Science in Urban Management and Development offered by the Institute for Housing and Urban Development Studies. Today with me, I have Dr. Anitra Baliga and Dr. Pamela Duran Diaz, both of them teaching in this master track, and in a bit they will introduce you in more detail in the course content, the assignments, and some of the thesis topics. Before we continue, I would like to share with you the content of this presentation. So we will start with a short introduction of the two lecturers that we have today with us, Anitra and Pamela. Why you should join us at IHS and study this program, a bit about the program content and how your year is organized at IHS, some of the assignments and teaching methods, and how our activities and this master track specifically contributes to the sustainable development goals. After that, we will continue with some more practical information, such as the admission requirements and the application package, how you can fund your studies, and also how the IHS graduates are doing after finishing the master track. In the end, we will share some contact information where you can find us and reach out to us. From here, I'll give the floor to Anitra.
Thanks, Mika, and hello, everybody. My name is Anitra Baliga, and I'm one of the lecturers in the Strategic Urban Planning Master Specialization course. I am an architect and a sociologist by training, and my expertise lies in urban redevelopment, speculative urban planning, housing financial and land markets more generally, and also urban informality.
Hello, everybody. My name is Pamela Duran Diaz. I'm a senior planning specialist and an assistant professor at IHS, and I also lecture at the SUPP track. And well, besides of my interest in urban and regional planning, I have been working on land and water governance and water energy food nexus for food sovereignty and heritage and cultural landscapes.
All right, before we dive into the content of the master track, here's a little overview of how the year and the UMD program in general is structured. So the year starts in September, and we have 3 blocks within which the courses are divided. So from September to December is block 1, which is sort of a combined block for all the specialization tracks. So you'll be studying and in class, sharing classrooms with all the other specialization track students as well. Within this block, you will be covering a bunch of core courses, including urban complexity, urban governance, and research methods like urban data analytics. Then from January onwards, you would move on to block 2, which covers the specialization period. And in addition to that, you'll also be developing your thesis and work and understanding how to design a research project. And then finally, the last block, block 3, focusing purely on your thesis development. There won't be any lectures or classes during this period. The idea is that you sort of use this time to collect data, do field work, and write up your thesis. So coming back to the Strategic Urban Planning Master Track, why study this program? The program offers a very interesting mix of applied and theoretical knowledge, and it all account how quickly planning practices and theories are changing and how cities are changing rapidly these days. So you will be learning how to deal with these ambitious, new and future-oriented planning visions. And one way to be doing this is to learn a variety of analytical tools and methods that the course will empower you with. one of the key features of the course is also learning how to identify key stakeholders within planning projects, how to map stakeholder relations within planning projects, and then intervene and navigate through these planning processes to get more stakeholders on board. You'll finally be applying a lot of these insights and knowledge that you learn in the classroom onto real case studies. And one way to do that is through assessing and drafting a policy intervention. So the structure of the master track is again broken down into 4 modules. Module 1, 2, and 3 are cumulative in that they follow on from each other and they sort of blend into each other. Module 1 mostly focuses on planning approaches and theory. So here you would get to expand your prior understanding and knowledge of what urban planning is. Module 2 focuses more on sort of current and real life urban visions that are popular across the world and the kind of frictions that these visions produce and how do you grapple with those. And then finally, module 3 is sort of a more applied module where you will be working on a specific sort of strategic policy making and like how do you come up with decisions given the challenges that you identify in different planning projects. And then finally, you have the thesis development module, which runs across the 3 modules in the program, where you'll be continually developing your independent thesis alongside the specialization program. The course uses a combination of lectures and workshops, student presentations and discussion in plenary. So apart from Pamela and me, there are a number of other faculty members from IHS and also guest lecturers who we rope in. Different lecturers have different styles and methods of teaching, so you get to understand and work with a wide variety of pedagogical skills and training methods. The course also adopts a lot of group work and peer feedback, so you'll be also learning from each other. And then we have sort of reading circles where we really test your ability to understand course literature and talk to them. And then finally, we also have some very interesting field visits planned for you.
What do our assignments look like? Besides of having the super dynamic environment in the classroom, we also want to foster critical thinking. So we have 4 different assignments that rank from, for example, academic papers, writing some essays, but we also want to develop the communication skill with policymakers and decision makers. And this is why one of our assignments is about writing a policy brief based also on the complexities that we can find in the case of Rotterdam. The idea, of course, is not for you to simply transfer all the knowledge and resources that Rotterdam has and use it in a different case study, but to acquire all of this knowledge and skills for you to develop innovative methods and communicate with the different stakeholders in your own community. Here, for example, we have to elaborate this case study report in multicultural and multidisciplinary groups. And for this, you will develop an intervention strategy for a particular neighborhood in Rotterdam. You perform a policy analysis, the stakeholder identification and mapping, and then use the theory of change to communicate with decision makers through this policy brief. To do so, well, we pack you with some knowledge, and that could be done through field visits. This is an example of a visit to one neighborhood here in Rotterdam, where we had different members of the community explaining the challenges that they endure and also the activities and grassroots movements that have been taking place. As a result, well, you also have to work on your own research project at the very end with your thesis, where you apply all the knowledge that you acquire. So it's more than understanding and analyzing. You also have to apply the knowledge, and to do so, well, we encourage you to search for a pressing issue in your home country or in the Netherlands based on the data availability and your own research interests. But the idea is to advance also in the implementation of the new urban agenda and foster more sustainable and just cities. Some examples of our recent thesis is just gentrification by design, a case study of tourism gentrification and economic disaster recovery policies in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, or, for example, resisting displacement in urban development. This is a case study of Mpape community in Abuja in Nigeria. There's also another research project that is ongoing on studying the spatial justice patterns in urban greening in Paris by overlapping a series of maps and methods from geospatial science to studying the justice within the city, or, for example, understanding the complexities of interinstitutional coordination and mobility planning in Colombia. These are some examples. And as mentioned before, yes, we aim to contribute to the implementation of the new urban agenda, and this includes monitoring and tracking some SDGs. For example, we track SDG 16, SDG 17, SDG 10, and we aim to contribute specifically to SDG 11 on creating sustainable cities and communities.
From here, I would like to introduce you, not to introduce you, but to give you the overview of the program. I forgot to mention in the beginning, but my name is Michaela, and I'm an enrollment advisor. And in the next slides, I will share with you some of the practical matters that you should be aware of. So as Anitra said in the beginning, this is a one-year program, so 12 months, starting from September this year until August next year. The tuition fee is 17,800 euros, and this is a flat tuition fee rate, so this means that students, both European and non-European, have to pay the same fee rate. And about the deadlines, so first of all, we have the early bird deadline. Currently, we are running the third round of applications. And you can make use of our early bird tuition fee waiver. If you apply before 15th of April and submit your fee before 15th of May, you will receive a 2,000 euro waiver on your fee. And then we also have the regular application deadlines for non-European students 1st of June and for European students 1st of July. About the admission requirements, so we have an application package that you need to submit through our online application portal, starting with a good academic performance. In the next slide, I will also cover some of the relevant educational backgrounds if you're wondering if you're eligible for the track. At least a bachelor degree from a recognized university in the field of urban development. We also accept master's degrees, but this is not mandatory part of the package. What's important is your bachelor degree. Proof of a sufficient command of English, we accept TOEFL or IELTS exam, and you need to have at least 6.5 on IELTS and 90 points on TOEFL to have a sufficient command of English and to be accepted. Working experience, this is not a mandatory part, but it's an asset when evaluating your application. And something that we have not mentioned yet, but the classroom at IHS is very international, and you will have the ability to interact with your classmates who come from more than 45 different countries, bringing different perspectives to the classroom. So it's very important that you're open-minded and ready to work with people from diverse cultures. Overall, all, we look at your full package, so not just, for example, your educational background. So we do encourage you to submit your application and apply for the master track that you have liked. We also look at your research proposal, which is not mentioned here, but we have a template for this, and I urge you to check our website when preparing your application. As mentioned, there are a few, we tried to summarize here the list of relevant educational backgrounds for this specific master track. So just a few examples of the fully relevant ones. We have architecture, development studies, urban management, urban planning, sociology. We have also some partially relevant degrees such as gender studies or environmental studies. A small tip from me, if you don't see your degree on this list, or if you're not sure that your transcript is fully relevant to the track, I advise you to reach out to our admission office. Now we also offer consultation by phone, so you can schedule a quick appointment with our admission officers and seek advice on your application. Another important topic for many of you is how to finance your studies. So here we have summarized a few ways that can help you to find funding. I would like to mention that it's important when you watch this webinar because usually the deadlines for scholarships are earlier in the year, and we always advise our students to apply for IHS as early as possible, because for all scholarships you will need your admission letter as a proof that you have been admitted to one of our master tracks. So always please check the deadlines, the application procedure. Are you eligible for the scholarship? And keep this in mind when preparing your application. So just a few examples, what you can apply for. We start with the NL scholarship. This is a partial scholarship of 5,000 euros awarded to 4 non-European students coming to the Netherlands for the first time. And the scholarship is awarded based on your academic excellence. And every year we award 4 students. You can apply for it before 1st of May. And then this partial scholarship can be combined, as I mentioned earlier, with our early bird tuition fee waiver. So if you manage to meet all the criteria and you submit your payment before 15th of May, you can, and you're awarded the NL scholarship, you can combine both of them, which will total in 7,000 euros less on your tuition fee. Of course, we have other scholarship opportunities, and those are listed on our website. We have country-specific list. So if, for example, you're not eligible for, let's say, the NL scholarship, I advise you to check our website for the full list. Otherwise, you can always reach out to us for advice. Lastly, before we wrap up, we very often get the question what our graduates are doing, what are the paths that they choose after finishing their studies at IHS. So here you can see some nice graphs that we made after a survey that we conducted last year among our alumni. So here we have data based on replies for more than 400 alumni spread across 67 countries. And as you can see here, most of them are working in the public sector and are employed full-time. However, the graduates are always choosing different paths depending on their interests, depending on how they want to develop professionally. We have people who start their own businesses or they run their own initiatives, but we also have people who pursue PhD and then decide to stay in academia, either in the Netherlands or somewhere else abroad. And just a few examples of what positions, job titles of some of our alumni. We have advisors, we have consultants, officers in GIZ, but also in other companies and NGOs across the globe. Our alumni network is more than 10,000 people, and we are very happy and we keep in touch with them through the different work and projects that our academics are doing. So before we finish, just some contact information. If you would like to contact our admission office regarding your application or any other matters related to your application, you can send them an email at admission@ihs.nl. If you have any questions about the course content or about funding opportunities, you can send us an email at courseinquiries@ihs.nl. And you're always more than welcome to check our website for events, news, and updates about the master tracks. And you can always follow us also on social media. We are active on all channels. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, on YouTube, where you're probably watching this webinar. I would like to thank you for your attention, and also for big thanks to Anitra and Pamela for joining us today and sharing the content with you. We wish you a nice day, and we hope to see you at IHS in the classroom very soon.